Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pondcast. My name is Draco, and joining me today are my co-hosts Chase and Guren.
Hello.
And today's episode is going to be a deep end episode regarding the Pokémon Company, where a couple of us have some ideas as to what they're doing, where they're taking the franchise, what our thoughts behind these recent decisions are of the Pokémon Company. So, starting off, let's go with Chase. You said you've had some thoughts on what they're doing and you want to talk about, so let's hear it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that I've noticed, especially after this last trailer solidified something in my mind. I think regarding the games, Pokemon is now trying to appeal to an older audience, sort of more mature audience, if you want to call it that. Yeah, so I don't know. Would you guys possibly think the same, or am I a bit out of left field for going down that route?
I think I can agree with that a little bit. It does seem like they're trying to, I think, quote unquote, like keep up with the times now, and probably maybe very small chances of it actually happening, but it does kind of sound like they're listening to their fans a little bit more. I don't know to what extent. I mean, besides the fact like, oh look, we're finally getting this open world game that the fans have been asking for a long time. And I think with the whole like also like keeping up with the times as well, they are going down that graphical route where they are improving it steadily, if anything, like, coming from like how, of course, this is just a 3DS, so like, you come with like the whole chibi like character designs to something a little bit less like that to like Sun and Moon era, and then now you're on the Switch, like a system that's definitely a lot more powerful compared to like the 3DS, and then the characters are looking a little bit more, or are looking even more refined in a sense compared to like Sun and Moon. And then now they're at the point where this trailer has just dropped for Scarlet and Violet, and like the characters look great. There's like this sense of organicness that we talked about in another video, and like I think they're putting their foot in the right direction. I just hope it doesn't like flop or anything, like, because I don't know, sometimes like the Pokemon Company, like something will come out and then like you're expecting like something good, BDSP, but it's just like, oh, different company or different studio working on it, and literally it's almost as if like they just took the base game, made it a little bit more graphically appeasing, and just added a little bits and pieces to make it slightly different, but
they definitely do feel like they're trying to walk that fine line. Violet and Scarlet look like they've gotten input from the Legend of Zelda team about how to make the open world. They're trying to definitely get that feeling of Breath of the Wild, which was geared more towards older players of the franchise. But at the same time, they've got to walk that fine line of trying to make sure that younger players are still hooked into this game so that they can jump in and start playing. And so they definitely feel like they're trying to walk that fine line of being able to cater to both their older audience with the expendable cash and still trying to maintain that youthful new players to come in and start playing this franchise that's been around for almost 30 years, which for many franchises, to stay as popular as Pokemon is not a small accomplishment. So I can definitely see that they're trying to keep both feet in, both hands in each pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love a Souls Pokemon game, but I definitely think they're not going to go down the route of like what Digimon was like, because that even for a kid's show is quite dark. So I think, like you said, it is a very fine line that they have to try and keep. But yeah, I think it's good, the direction that they're going in, and if they can appeal to a wider audience while still keeping the franchise true to itself, I think the Pokemon Company will do better than it's already doing. And I mean, they're already in quite a good position themselves, so we'll just have to see where things go.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a big accomplishment if they will be able to do that, the whole like moving forward while still keeping their identity and like the way that they've been doing things like to a T, I guess, so to speak. And I think there was this other thing recently as well about Junichi Masuda as well. I think like he has like a promotion or something now. Like now he's not part of GameFreak, but actually like the Pokemon Company itself as like a lead, like as some sort of lead or something. I remember seeing Ruffle posting about it or retweeting it or something, and I think for someone who's been with the GameFreak and Pokemon for a long time, I think that might be that welcome addition. Junichi Masuda has been like the face, so to speak, or like one of the more known faces in the Pokemon community in terms of like the dev side, and like that could be another thing that like just works in their favor of like the whole like they're trying to take that step to improve.
So for me, and it's something I wanted to bounce off of you guys, was that I see the national Dex cut is actually more the second step of what the Pokemon Company has planned to do in order to maximize their income potential, so to speak. And this is going to sound really wrong, and part of me does not really care for this particular mentality if it is legitimate. Part of me just thinks this might be a coincidence for A, B, and C, but I always try to take the bird's eye view of everything. But since Pokemon Go, there has been, I think, a plan in motion of how to best get more people to pick up these games from different venues. For example, currently, there is talk about the sunsetting of the 3DS. The Pokemon Bank is going to be going free. They're no longer going to be accepting money because the Switch is basically taken over at this point as their portable as well as their home console. So that said, they're going to eventually cut the 3DS out of the loop. And if you've noticed, the only way to complete a Pokedex right now, a complete Pokedex for living Dexers, is to transfer your older games up or to get lucky enough to capture Pokemon from different games to put them into home. If Pokemon Company was to cut the 3DS out tomorrow, there are specifically 10 Pokemon that are left not being able to be found in any single game that is currently directly connected to the Switch. So you can only get certain Pokemon through Pokemon Go, certain Pokemon through BDSP, certain Pokemon from Pokemon Legends Arceus, and certain Pokemon from Sword and Shield, and a handful of the ones Eevee and Pikachu. Basically, this has been done on purpose to entice newer players to pick up the different games, the different aspects, to find those missing Pokemon to complete the decks. And one of the glaringly obvious Pokemon that they did this with is Meltan and Melmetal. You can only catch those through Pokemon Go. And I think this is done intentionally. I think the national Dex cut was step 2 in this process. The newer games having all Dex cuts was step 3. And I think this is going to be a continuation of that particular mentality because it's the only way to get people to keep buying the older games. Because us living Dexers have access to everything, but newer players who weren't around 20 years ago, who have not been bringing their Pokemon forward into each new journey, do not have access to those Pokemon. So the only way to get them is through the remakes or through the new games or through Pokemon Go. And I want your guys' thoughts on this because for me, it's kind of as far as, it is brilliant, but it is also slightly disturbing that this is the direction that they may be going.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, and it does make a lot of sense. But I don't think that it's their intention to try and push sales for older games, especially for a console that we could wake up tomorrow and they say, okay, all online services for it have been cut. It just, in my mind, it doesn't make sense as to why they would do that. But I mean, you know what, at the end of the day, if that makes them money, then it could be a very real possibility that that's what they're doing. And I might just be blind to that fact. But personally, I just can't understand why they would try and push sales for a dying console, so to speak.
I'm a little bit, like, hearing about this, I'm a little bit sad because I do want to replay some old games and then I do want to kind of transfer this Pokemon over as well. So I have no idea, like, when, like, Bank or something will close. So I do feel a little bit, like, sad for that. And a little bit scared too, because it's like, just as somebody who, like, I'm sure other people have felt it as well. Like, when you play through a Pokemon story, right, especially, like, on the older games too, like, you feel like this bond connection with these Pokemon. Like, I've seen stories of people like, oh man, I can finally get my, like, OG, like, Dialga or something from original Diamond and Pearl into my current game system, kind of thing, or like into my current game. And it's like, I know that's something that could be solved in the future. Like maybe the Nintendo will finally have like that, like some kind of working emulator. I think there was something going on about them like kind of working on like some kind of GBA emulator or something for their system. And like, okay, fine, if they can get that working, and and we can play like some of the older games through that way, that's fine. I mean, will I be spending money again to play those games? Most likely, yeah. They're probably gonna have those like locked behind some kind of paywall or something. But once again, I think you guys bring up a good point as well. Like, this is a company. A company is usually there to make money. Granted, they have some good intentions with it as well, like further improving on their content or something. But this is, I mean, it's probably just what it is. It's a company. It's trying to make money. I do see what Chase is also trying to say. Like, I don't see them trying to push sales on a dying console as well. It wouldn't stop them at all from doing something like that. I mean, come on, literally they released the 3DS, right? Maybe some later installations like the 3DS XL, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I don't think anybody actually uses this 3D feature. Let's just cut it out and make a brand new Nintendo 2DS XL thing. Like, I still remember when that thing came out, and I was like, wow. They literally made a like thinner-ish 3DS and took out the 3D portion of it. I'm like, okay, I guess that's one way to go about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on there. But again, I do believe that it's just a way to keep perpetuating future sales, because there's things like Minior. Minior can't be found outside of a Gen 7 game, and who knows how long we're gonna have access to that. So if it shows up if any of the 10 Pokemon, and I'm going to throw the list up here on screen, but if any of those 10 Pokemon show up in Scarlet and Violet, it would mean that every catchable Pokemon is now available on the Sword and on the Switch in some fashion, whether it's through Pokemon Go, BDSP, Legends Arceus, whatever game. They will no longer need that 3DS, and it would further solidify the fact that that system is on its way out already. But unless we get a full, complete Dex game in the next generation or so, I think this is going to be the normal that they're going to continue with. They're going to try and perpetuate Pokemon Home like they tried to perpetuate Pokemon Bank into the future games, and until they announce the next Nintendo system or the next Nintendo handheld, I think this is going to be the normal of things.
I don't think, personally, we're going to get another national deck. And you know what? In my opinion, that's all right. I don't mind regional dexes. The national Dex Cut didn't faze me at all. But with Home now, it makes your Pokemon so readily available, and you've got it. You can have your entire collection at your fingertips at all times. Personally, I don't see the need to ever bring back the national Dex when you've got it in Home already.
Yeah, this is true, I think, too. Because as long as they don't pull off a stunt where, like, because originally Pokemon Bank, that was the thing for transferring all these old Pokemon into like one place so you can give them with the newer games. In this case, like Sun and Moon, where they technically didn't have a national Dex in the sense like those Pokemon don't appear on the Pokédex at all. I think like when you transfer them over, but then they're still playable in the game, right? And then like when the Switch came out, right, and they have Sword and Shield, they announced Pokemon Home, which right now is like the kind of the new Pokemon Bank, right? Because you store all those Pokemon in there now. As long as they don't try to like make some other format software system thing where like, oh, this is a Pokemon Castle or something, where like now you gotta transfer all your stuff from Home to here. Like, as long as they keep this Pokemon Home thing as is without changing it up to like some new system software thing, then I think the national Dex, or cutting off the amount of Pokemon on the national Dex or some kind of regional Dex or whatever, is an okay move. Like, because I think I'm there with Chase a little bit. Well, I'm there with Chase at the point that like the national Dex cut thing didn't really affect me at all. I understand some people probably don't have like a certain Pokemon that hasn't appeared yet in a game, and maybe they're kind of miffed about that. But like, honestly, with like how much Pokemon there is now, I honestly don't see that as a problem as well. Like, it's the Pokemon Home. That's the place right now where you can like store all your Pokemon. Granted, you can't use them. Maybe they should change that and add some kind of function for them besides just staying in there and trading and whatnot. But I think as long as they keep Pokemon home, everything should be okay, regardless of national Dex Cuts and whatnot.
And with that, we'll bring this episode down to a close. What do you guys think? Do you see where some of us are going with these thoughts and ideas of what the Pokemon Company has been doing over the last couple of years? Do you have a different idea? Let us know. We'd love to hear what's going on, what you think might be happening. Also, please remember, share, like, and subscribe. And hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.